Welcome to Mind Mechanics Lab, where we decode the most fascinating stories from history, science, and the world around us. Today's discovery will change how you see things. Let's dive in. Before it became a symbol of humanity's hubris and a warning etched into the global consciousness, Chernobyl was simply a city. First mentioned as a ducal hunting lodge in Kievan Ruses in 1193, this settlement, in what is now Ukraine, just north of Kiev, had a long, varied history. By the 16th century, Jewish communities began to thrive here, eventually becoming a major center of Hasidic Judaism by the end of the 18th century under the Twersky dynasty. But the early 20th century saw these communities dwindle due to pogroms and emigration, and by World War II, Nazi Germany tragically murdered all remaining Jews as part of the Holocaust. For centuries, Chernobyl's story was one of changing hands, evolving cultures, and resilient people. Prior to the disaster, it was home to approximately 14,000 residents. While not as large as the purpose-built city of Pripyat nearby, it was a living, breathing community. Then, in 1972, a decision was made that would forever alter its destiny. Chernobyl was selected as the site for a new nuclear power plant, a beacon of Soviet technological ambition. This choice transformed a quiet historical city into the unwilling epicenter of one of history's most profound man-made catastrophes, setting the stage for the night the nuclear sky fell. With Chernobyl chosen as the site, construction of the massive nuclear power plant began, a testament to Soviet engineering and their push for energy independence. The facility, located just north of Chernobyl proper, commenced operation in 1977 to house the thousands of workers and their families who would operate this colossal installation. A new, modern city was purpose-built nearby. Pripyat. It was designed to be a model Soviet city, boasting amenities and a vibrant community, all centered around the energy giant that was the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Life in Pripyat revolved around the plant, a steady rhythm of shifts and the hum of powerful reactors. The RBMK 1000 reactors at Chernobyl were a source of national pride, designed for both power generation and plutonium production, a dual-purpose legacy of the Cold War era. These were powerful machines, each capable of generating immense amounts of electricity. The scale of the undertaking was monumental, a promise of a bright, electrified future for the region. Yet, beneath the veneer of progress and efficiency, certain design flaws and operational procedures would combine to create a perfect storm. The world would soon learn, in the most devastating way imaginable, that even the most advanced technology, when mishandled, carries unimaginable risks. The stage was now set for an irreversible chain of events. The night of April 26, 1986, started like any other for the thousands living in Pripyat and Chernobyl. But deep within reactor number 4, a routine safety test was underway, one that would quickly spiral into an unprecedented disaster. Design flaws in the reactor, combined with operator errors, led to a catastrophic power surge. At 1:23 a.m., 2 powerful explosions ripped through the reactor building, blowing the 1,200-ton lid off the reactor, exposing its core, and unleashing a plume of highly radioactive material into the atmosphere. The immediate aftermath was confusion, a terrifying unknown. Initially, Soviet authorities downplayed the incident, delaying crucial information and evacuation orders. It wasn't until May 5, 1986, a full 9 days after reactor number 4 exploded, that the Soviet government finally began evacuating the residents of both Chernobyl and Pripyat. Imagine waiting over a week, unaware of the invisible poison settling over your homes, only to be told to leave everything behind, possibly forever. The streets of Pripyat once bustling, became eerily silent as buses carried away its 49,000 residents, along with Chernobyl's 14,000. This delayed response cost precious time, allowing radioactive particles to spread further, impacting countless lives and forever altering the landscape. The explosion at Chernobyl unleashed an invisible enemy, ionizing radiation. The immediate effects were devastating, but the long-term consequences would prove even more insidious. In the chaotic days and weeks that followed, hundreds of thousands of individuals, now known as liquidators, were mobilized. These brave men and women, often with minimal protection, worked to contain the disaster, extinguishing fires, cleaning up radioactive debris, and constructing the initial sarcophagus over the ruined reactor. They were soldiers, miners, firefighters, and civilians, all sacrificing their health, and often their lives, to limit the spread of contamination. The scale of the undertaking was immense. These liquidators managed the disaster in conditions of extreme danger, facing radiation levels that often far exceeded safe limits. Their efforts were crucial in preventing an even wider catastrophe, but the human cost was staggering. Many suffered acute radiation syndrome, and countless more developed chronic illnesses. Following their subsequent settlement in the newly purpose-built city of Slavutish, most of the evacuees from Chernobyl and Pripyat never returned to their homes. The ghost cities they left behind stand as stark monuments to a moment when the pursuit of nuclear power went terribly, catastrophically wrong. The radioactive contamination from Chernobyl didn't just affect Pripyat and Chernobyl. It spread across vast territories, rendering entire regions uninhabitable for generations. The immediate administrative response reflected the profound impact. From 1923 onwards, Chernobyl had been the administrative center of Chernobyl Raion. However, owing to widespread radioactive contamination in the region, Chernobyl Raion was dissolved and merged with Ivankiv Raion in 1988. This was not a routine bureaucratic reshuffle. It was a direct consequence of an environmental catastrophe, forcing authorities to redraw maps and redefine territories based on invisible lines of danger. The ripples of this disaster continued for decades. Ivankiv Raion, which absorbed Chernobyl's former administrative duties in turn, was dissolved and merged with Vyshhorod Raion during Ukraine's 2020 administrative reform. These administrative changes underscore the enduring legacy of the disaster, a constant reminder that the land itself had been fundamentally altered. The Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, an area spanning thousands of square kilometers, was established to restrict access and manage the contaminated environment. Within this zone, nature has slowly begun to reclaim urban spaces, creating an eerie landscape where abandoned buildings are swallowed by forests, a testament to the power of both destruction and regrowth. Today, Chernobyl City presents a complex, almost paradoxical picture. While living anywhere within the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone is technically illegal, Ukrainian authorities have tolerated those who have taken up residence in some of the city's less irradiated areas. As of 2020, Chernobyl's population was estimated at 150 people, a stark contrast to its pre-disaster 14,000 residents. These are often self-settlers, known as Samosili, who have returned despite the risks, drawn by a deep connection to their ancestral land. The city, though a shadow of its former self, is not entirely deserted. Workers on watch and administrative personnel of the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone are stationed in the city, managing the ongoing containment efforts and research. There are even 2 general stores and a hotel catering to the limited population and the occasional scientific or documentary teams. For years, The city's atmosphere remained calm after the initial disaster was contained. However, the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine sparked international concern about the stability of Ukrainian nuclear facilities. Reports indicated that Russia's occupation of the Chernobyl exclusion zone until April 2022 had caused a spike in radiation levels, a chilling reminder that even a contained catastrophe remains vulnerable to geopolitical instability. Catastrophe at Chernobyl offers a chilling parallel to the destructive power harnessed by nuclear weapons. While Chernobyl was an uncontrolled release of energy from a power plant, nuclear weapons are explosive devices designed precisely for that purpose. They derive their immense force from nuclear reactions, either fission or a combination of fission and fusion. Both types release colossal quantities of energy from surprisingly small amounts of matter. The majority of nuclear weapons have energy yields between 100 and 1,000 kilotons of TNT, meaning they can destroy entire cities. The effects of nuclear weapons are multifaceted and horrifying. Extreme blast damage, intense heat, lethal ionizing radiation, and widespread firestorms. These are followed by radioactive nuclear fallout, an electromagnetic pulse, and severe radiation syndrome in humans and animals. This isn't theoretical. The world knows this destructive potential firsthand. 9 sovereign states are believed to possess nuclear weapons, creating a global landscape of nuclear deterrence. The uncontrolled fission event at Chernobyl, though not a weaponized explosion, gave the world a terrifying glimpse into the raw, unbridled power of the atom when it escapes human control, echoing the destructive potential these weapons hold. The destructive capacity of nuclear technology has only been unleashed weaponized twice in warfare, both times by the United States against Japan at the end of World War II. On August 6, 1945, a uranium gun-type fission bomb, Little Boy, decimated Hiroshima. 3 days later, on August 9th, a plutonium implosion-type fission bomb, Fat Man, fell on Nagasaki. These bombings caused the deaths of between 150,000 and 246,000 people, a horrifying demonstration of nuclear power's immediate and devastating impact on human life and infrastructure. Since then, nuclear weapons have been detonated over 2,000 times for testing and demonstration, but never again in conflict. Chernobyl, unlike Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was not an act of war, but a tragic accident. Yet, it demonstrated a similar, albeit more protracted, form of destruction: widespread contamination, mass displacement, and long-term health consequences. Both scenarios underscore a profound truth. The awesome power of the atom, whether harnessed for energy or for destruction, demands absolute vigilance and respect. The night the nuclear sky fell over Chernobyl serves as an eternal silent monument to the critical importance of foresight, safety, and humility in humanity's quest to wield forces that can so easily overwhelm us. We must never forget the lessons etched into the irradiated soil of Chernobyl. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button. New discoveries every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring.